Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suranjali Seal, and like I always say, if you are somebody that loves literature and is all about literature, then this is the channel for you. In our video today, we're going to talk about two more figures of speech that are widely used. They're very popular. Like the simile and metaphor in my previous video, they were the more popular ones, right? This is also a very popular figure of speech which is used widely, not only in literature but also in our day-to-day lives. So we're going to talk about irony and sarcasm. Now, both of them are widely used, but they're oftentimes confused with each other as well. They sound similar, they have similar usage also, but there's a thin line between the two. There are considerable differences between the two, so we're going to talk about all of that in this video. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so see, both play on opposites but have differences. Both of them play on opposites, about opposite things, meaning opposite things, doing opposite things than what you are doing or meaning or saying. So we're going to understand this. Now look at the definition. Irony is the humorous or mildly sarcastic use of words to imply the opposite of what they normally mean. In simplest terms, irony occurs in literature and in life whenever a person says something or does something that departs from what they or we expect them to say or do. So this is irony. I'll just explain it. Irony is when you say something and you do you mean the opposite thing, or you do something which we don't expect you to do. We expect you to say do something and you end up doing something else. We expect a particular kind of situation, but the situation turns out to be something else, the opposite usually. So that is irony. Sarcasm, let's look at the definition first. The use of words that mean the opposite of what you really want to say. It's similar to irony, isn't it? Irony also, you're saying something but you mean something else to imply the opposite of what they normally mean. Okay. Sarcasm also, use of words that mean the opposite of what you really want to say. Similar, right? But what is the difference? In sarcasm, you use these words especially in order to insult someone, to show irritation, or just to be funny. It is made in order to hurt someone's feelings or to criticize something in a humorous way. So the thin line that I was talking about, it lies in the fact or it lies in the motive of what you're doing. So if you're doing it to insult somebody, if you're doing it to critique somebody, if you're doing it just to sound funny and humorous, that is sarcasm. But irony can be a statement also. You say a statement and the opposite happens. That is irony. For example, you're a cat lover, you're allergic to cats. Irony. You are in the estate business, you are in the estate business, you sell other people's house, but when it comes to your house, you're unable to sell it. That's what? Irony. Okay, irony is something which is expected to happen, the opposite happens. Okay, the opposite happens. So you are a cat lover, you're expected to love cats, hug cats, keep pets, but you're unable to do that because you're allergic to cats. One is allergic to cats, so you cannot keep cats at home. So that is ironic, okay, opposite of what is expected. And then you have whenever a person says something or does something, says something also. You say something but you mean something else. You say something and you end up doing something else. That is irony. Sarcasm is particularly to insult, to criticize, or to show irritation. So your motive, the motive over there is to irritate someone, to insult someone. That is the thin line. That is the difference between the two. Now, see, I'll give you a classic example from Pride and Prejudice. It's one of my favorite novels. So I'll tell you, remember when Darcy first talks about Elizabeth Bennet and in the ball, and he is talking to Bingley and he's saying that Elizabeth Bennet is tolerable, but she's not handsome enough to tempt me. Remember, he says that about her, that she is tolerable, that is, she's okay-ish, okay, but she's not handsome enough to tempt me. She's not pretty enough to actually captivate me. That's what he said about Elizabeth Bennet. But in time to come, as we progress through the video, he fell in love with her, right? When he said that she's not handsome enough to tempt me, but he went ahead and fell in love with her even before her, right? He fell in love with her. And, that statement that he says was completely opposite. This is irony. Jane Austen in Pride and Prejudice uses irony heavily, okay? So even in the opening lines also she uses irony, but I'm giving a simpler one. He says that she's not handsome enough to tempt me, but he ends up falling for her. So that's an irony. He's doing things that are completely opposite to what you expect them to do. Now see here, I'll give you one thing. Irony, that is, saying something, doing something opposite than meaning something opposite than what you're saying, doing something opposite to what you're expected to do. Irony, employed in the service, employed, used to mock or attack someone, is sarcasm. So this is the similarity and difference between the two. When you're using irony with the motive of insulting someone, that is sarcasm. When you don't have the motive of insulting someone, that is not sarcasm, that is just irony. So when Darcy said that, she's not handsome enough to tempt me, he did not want to insult her. His personality was such that that's how he used to talk, that's his opinion. He says she's not handsome enough to tempt me. But in the process, what happens, once I remember Elizabeth Bennet had said that Darcy has no defects. She says Darcy has no defects, but that was sarcasm. She wanted to highlight the fact that he's so full of pride that he has a lot of defects in his personality, in his character, pride being one of them, which he did not like at all. So she says that Darcy has no defect. That's what she says, but she says it sarcastically. And this is what? To insult someone. She's saying something, the meaning of which is opposite. What she says, the literal meaning and the intended meaning is opposite to each other, right? So that is sarcasm. So, I felt like there are many, many quotes that can be highlighted regarding this, but I'm giving you just easy examples. So, she says that Darcy is without defect, and he owns it himself without disguise. Like, he's without defect and he shows it to everyone that he's without defect. But that is what? That's sarcasm, that he is too full of pride, and that's what Elizabeth Bennet did not like. But towards the end, she falls in love with him as well. So what I'm trying to say over here, that the difference between irony and sarcasm, sometimes we get it confused. We use them heavily in our day-to-day lives also, and the two are used interchangeably also. But then there are these little differences which will actually make the two words clearer also to us. So how do we spot the two? So when a speaker says one thing but means something entirely different, the literal meaning is at odds with the intended meaning. The same thing is with sarcasm also. Literal meaning is at odds with the intended meaning, but you use ridicule and mockery. Ridicule or mockery is used harshly, often crudely and contemptuously for destructive purposes. And in case of irony, when we say that's ironic, it means that you find the situation funny because of the contrast between what you said and the reality of the situation. Contrast between what you said, that, oh, she's not handsome enough to tempt me, but the reality of the situation later is that he falls in love with her. So irony. And sarcasm it implies an intentional inflicting of pain by deriding, taunting or ridiculing a critic known for his sarcastic remarks. A satiric implies that the intent of the ridiculing is censure and reprobation. Okay, this last part you don't have to. I'm just giving you you are actually intentionally inflicting. When Elizabeth Bennet says that Darcy is without defects, she's intentionally saying that, right? Because she wanted to highlight the fact that he's full of pride. Okay, he has his own shortcomings. So that is sarcasm. And when you just say a statement and the opposite happens, or when you are doing something which you are not, we expect you to behave in a certain way. Like, for example, an astronomer is afraid of the dark. You expect the astronomer to be in awe of the dark, to love the dark. But if an astronomer is afraid of the dark, you'll say, oh, okay, that's ironic. Right? So I hope that this is clear to you. Irony and sarcasm often are confused with each other, but there are differences, and I hope that this video has made it clear for you all. And if you liked the video, then please make sure that you share the video, like the video, and subscribe to my channel for similar content. And in my next video, we're going to begin with a new topic centering books itself. So till we meet again, I hope that you stay healthy and happy. See you in the next one, guys.